Welcome to Monster Monday. Tonight we are going to be talking about the classic, the remake, the 1988, The Blob. Holy shit, is this movie awesome. Now I could definitely see some people disliking it because the storyline is fairly, weak in a way, but I love this movie. I mean, I really don't have anything negative to say about this film. It's fantastic. This is the Umbrella Region B Blu-ray. Looks pretty good. There's a lot of graininess to it. I know some people like that, but I'm not a huge fan. But if that's the way the film looks, that's the way the film looks. Now, the director of this did Nightmare on Elm Street and then this back to back, like a year after each other. And 6 years later, he did The Mask. And then 2 years later, he did Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then he really didn't make much after them. He made some things, but not sure why this guy's career didn't take off, because this movie's freaking awesome. This was written by Frank Darabont, and was one of the writers anyways. And that is probably why, no, that is exactly why we see Jeffrey DeMunn here as the sheriff. Now, this movie stars Kevin Dillon and Shawnee Smith. This was 1 year before Summer School. Oh, man. Or Summer School was 1 year before this, sorry. Summer School is 87. This is 88. Oh, you know how much I love Summer School. I know a lot of people, especially in horror, would either know her from this or would know her from the Saw series. But, whew, I am such a big Summer School fan. Anyway, and we've also got Donovan Leitch, whatever the fuck you say this guy's name, from Cutting Class, which I reviewed for another Slasher Sunday a few weeks ago, when it was like before they were stars. Brad Pitt's in that movie. But yeah, so let's get into this movie itself. Now, we have Kevin Dillon, who plays Brian, and he is going to jump his bike across this bridge. And something goes wrong with his bike. And he's not doing this for a crowd of people, okay? This guy is just doing it to be a badass for himself and no one else. He's not showing off. He just wants to prove he can do it for him and only him. He wrecks. This homeless guy, kind of laughs at him a little bit, and he runs off without his bike because it's broken. Something was going on, so he goes to his mechanic shop he works at, grabs some tools, and tries to go back there. Now, now the sheriff in this goes into this diner, and he asks this chick out, and she's like, no. And then he leaves, and he's got his receipt there, his tab, his ticket, whatever, and at the bottom it says, I'm off at 11. Man, chicks really are just too confusing for words, okay? And this is a testament to that. No, I'm off at 11. What the fuck? Anyway, so the sheriff goes and he sees Brian, who's in town, and he follows him around, and he tells him he can't wait for his ass to turn 18 so that he can stop going to juvenile hall or be a juvie or whatever. He wants him to go to, what does he call it? The majors, man. I don't want you in the minors no more. I want you in the majors. I want you getting ass raped in prison. You ever notice that when, I don't know, I feel like we condone rape in prison. You ever notice that? Like, when anytime anybody ever talks about prison and someone going there, they're like, well, he's going to get raped and get what he deserves. And it's like, should we all just be so, like, I don't know, accepting of the fact that prison rape happens? Okay, I'm like way off here, but it's just always crossed my mind. Like, that's just expected? Like, I don't know. Okay, I'll go way too off. I'll never stop talking, but I always find that funny. So then this great scene where this kid goes in to buy a condom. He just walks up to the pharmacist, so cool, and then his priest walks up, and of course he doesn't want to be seen buying a condom by his priest, so he blames it on his friend. And then he goes, freaking Paul goes to pick up his date, Meg, who is played by Shawnee Smith. And of course, when he goes to meet her dad, it's the pharmacist. Now, I find this kind of ridiculous because he's in such a rush to meet this girl. He's got his friend buying condoms, not for him, but just he's like, come on, this girl's not going to wait forever, whatever. And then he goes like, straight to her house or pretty much there. And then her dad is already home on the couch looking at the newspaper. Man, that guy's fast. And he's a larger man, Art LaFleur, right? The babe himself from Sandlot. So I guess it's true. Legends never die. That guy is quick. He's Benny the Jet Rodriguez fast. That's how fast that guy is. All right. And where am I? I love when he sees him and he looks up through his paper and all he says is ribbed. That was freaking great, man. That's funny ass shit. So we get the comet coming from the sky. Boom. Obviously, it ends up being a down little American spacecraft, blah, blah, blah. But the bum gets the thing on him, and then Kevin Dillon finds him, so he takes him. The bum runs away. He gets hit by the car. They take him to the hospital, and while they're in there, the jock here, Paul, he goes in to check on him. He sees that something's going on. He gets the doctor, and then they pull it back, and man, his whole, like the bum's whole lower half looks like it has had acid poured on it. So then Paul goes and runs into this room, calling whoever, and then looks up. He calls the sheriff, sorry. He looks up, and boom, Blob drops on top of him. And this is when Shawnee or Meg runs in the room, and we see that iconic shot. You can kind of get it here. I'll probably use it as the little wallpaper or whatever the fuck this. It doesn't matter. Why can't I think what the hell that's called? Little screenshot here. Thumbnail. Jesus Christ. There we go. But yeah, that shot's so great. He's reaching out. That is shocking. Okay? That's shocking because you think he's going to be a main character, and boom, he's killed off like super quick. I haven't seen this in a long time, so I was actually kind of surprised. I was like, oh shit, that kid dies already? Wow, I did not expect that. So that's great. And then we didn't get to see the confrontation between Meg's dad and Paul there, so that was kind of silly, but that's all right. Then her brother is Jesse from Return of the Living Dead 2. So another main character chick, and the little kid is her brother right here. I want to say this is like same year or like year ever. I mean, the kid looks exactly the same. He has like the same haircut, the same outfit, everything. It looked like he was just going from one set to the other, and they weren't even bothering to like switch his clothes. I mean, I could be completely off on that, but it's just when I saw the kid, he looked identical, same haircut for sure. And then we move over to the friend. I can't remember his name. I think I wrote it. Maybe doesn't matter. The guy's friend who buys the condoms, and he's trying to work up this girl to sleep with her, and he gives her one of the rings. He has like 30 in his trunk because he's a piece of shit. And then he comes back. He has like a full bar in his trunk where he has like a hand freaking blender in there and everything. This guy's ridiculous. He goes back in the car, girl's asleep, so he decides to start unbuttoning her blouse anyways without her permission, and then boom, he sticks his hand in there, and this is kind of a raft moment, which the raft came out, I want to say, a year before this. I don't think they took anything from that movie. They may have. It's got a similar feel. I would want to say The Raft is very similar to The Blob in a lot of ways. But anyway, races in there and boom, the girl's face comes up and just like sucks itself in and then explodes all over him. Awesome. Fucking the FX, the practical effects in this movie, not enough can be said of them. We always talk about The Thing and American Werewolf in London, but The Blob from 1988 has some of the greatest practical effects ever featured on film, especially in the horror genre and especially in the 80s. Holy shit, are they incredible. There's so many, and I wrote them all down here, but I don't want to just get too redundant, but I gotta mention all the ones that I thought were absolutely incredible, which is pretty much every single one of them, right? And then this guy gets his hand stuck. There's another one where it comes out, boom, pulls his face, boom, and then it crushes his head, and it actually like implodes and like right down the drain. And then they come in, and his blob is bullying his whole body, sucking him so hard that his fucking whole body and shoe and everything go down the drain. That's amazing. This is where Meg and Brian run into the freezer, and they find the blob's one weakness, the cold. It does not like the cold. Then the chick runs off, gets in the telephone booth. She tries to call the sheriff, and you think, oh, the sheriff's going to be a big deal too, because they keep kind of playing him up a little bit. And then she's trying to call, and she's like, gets on the phone with the girl, and she's like, I don't know where he is. And boom, he's right there in the blob, looking at her, pressed against the glass. I mean, he made her date, right? I mean, it's about 11 o'clock, so the guy's timely as well. But she sees him, he's like starting to fall apart. His face is turning. It's like stomach acid. It's kind of like some kind of acid, acidic acid. And then it just implodes. And I love that shot where the whole place just kind of implodes and it just crushes the girl. Her limbs are like flying off. Oh, so damn good. And then let's see. Boom, boom, boom. The scientists come in and they got the hazmat suits on, and they tell some bullshit story like, we think this is what killed the dinosaurs, and then we find it was actually them that did it, and they're trying to keep this all a big secret, quarantine the place, kill everyone. Guy even says these people are expendable. This kid, the little brother here, goes to a scary movie, and the guy behind him is ruining the movie because he's seen it before, and the kid tells him to shut up, and the guy won't shut up, and he just continues to keep telling the plot of the story. This reminds me very much of Tiny Toons, How I Spent My Summer Vacation, when the guy, he's got freaking Shoyles, little date there, keeps telling the plot of what's going to happen, and skunknophobia. Anybody a big Tiny Toons Adventure fan? That movie is amazing, by the way. It just reminded me so heavily of this. I doubt that this was the inspiration, but it's very similar. But that guy gets killed like he should. Asshole, shut the fuck up. Could you imagine? Oh my God, like having someone behind me who was like, especially something I was like dying to see, you know, spoiling the film as the movie's going, and then I tell him to shut up, and he's, you know, no, my God, I'd freak. Anyway, and then the Blob kills the guy up there, but he also kills the freaking projectionist, which is great. Comes out of the air vent there, kills him, then kills the manager, then kills the guy. Then the whole theater starts running out, you know, a little homage to the original one with Steve McQueen, right? The theater, they do that. A friend of mine, Maureen Santorelli, right? I don't know. Yeah, that's her name. She goes to that thing where they show the Blob and then they all run out of the theater. It's an event that they have at that theater. They do that in the 50s version, or 50s, right? Fuck, when is that? The original Blob's in the 50s, yeah. And then they made a sequel to that in the 70s, which is like super groovy. And then, yeah, this 80s one. And we haven't seen another one since. I know Rob Zombie was attached to remake it. Oh my God, I can't even imagine what people would do if he tried to remake this. Jesus Christ, I'd never heard the end of it. Ugh, the hatred for that guy is so ridiculously overwhelming. I hate hearing about it. I like a lot of the guy's films, so I'm fine. But I would not want him to touch anything like this, because it would be all the threads would be about, and I just probably have to leave all the horror groups I'm in. Anyway, and yeah, then of course, I mean, he uses his bike. He sees the whole plan that this is bacteria. It was grown in space. It fucked up, fell down, and then so he tries to run off, and a cop, you know, whatever. But then he gets on his motorcycle, drives away, and of course jumps the bridge finally. And somehow, I mean, he jumps it so miraculously, that whole like 5-foot jump that he does with his motorcycle, that these Marines and military personnel are just not man enough to try to make with him. But somehow he even loses a helicopter jumping that small little bridge. That was incredible, man. a helicopter somehow got lost in that chase. I'm not sure how that happened, but it is what it is. And then, oh man, her little Meg's little brother's friend gets mutilated here. Don't get much kid death, but he gets yanked down into the water, swims down, and then he comes out and he's just and he's falling apart. Oh man, that poor kid. The guy who gets caught in the sewer with them, who is part of that little cleanup crew, is Bill Moseley. You can see him right there in the thing. He doesn't have a lot of lines. And I would think this would be after Texas Chainsaw 2. So this is like post Chop Top. Should have had a bigger role, man. Chop Top's amazing, but I don't think a lot of people gave it credit because that movie was panned as fuck and hated by most. I was one of them when I was a kid, but I love it now. So then Brian here grabs a rocket launcher and shoots it straight up at this sewer because they like close them down there and they park a car on top of it and everything, and blows this place up. And hey man, there's no blowback on him, no fireball coming down and completely incinerating all of them who are sitting right below. That's totally believable, but hey, this is a Blob movie. Does it really need to be? And then, oh man, God, this is such incredible stuff here, but the Blob is like coming down the street and it's just killing people, and then it like takes his hand, because terror has no shape. But yeah, the hand just comes down and it smacks and completely flattens this guy, and then it raises its arm or whatever the hell you want to call it, and the guy's like laying there like a cartoon or some freaking like Roger Rabbit skit or something. He's completely flattened under there. Oh, that shit's hilarious and awesome. I did say Rebecca bought me this, right? I don't think I mentioned that. I meant to mention it, but Rebecca, I mentioned it in my Slasher Sunday review, but I don't think I gave it. So thank you, Rebecca, for this Blu-ray. It's awesome. I have it on DVD. I'd like to compare the two. This looks really good, though, except for the graininess. Anyways, I had to throw that in there, so thank you. And then there's just so happens to conveniently be a snowmaker truck that that Brian goes and grabs, and that thing is ready to shoot snow at any minute. Okay, sure, why not? And then the cop gets snapped in two and pulled backwards. That's awesome. Another great effect there. And then Shawnee comes out, or Meg comes out to save frickin' Brian. He's in the truck, and the Blob's covering the thing, and she's shooting it. She grabs a gun, and she's like, "You son of a bitch!" And she's just on top of the truck. I love that. And then the Blob starts coming at her. She falls backwards, and her foot gets stuck on the back, which I find kind of funny because she comes out to save him. Like, he's coming to save her, then she comes out to save him, and then in a last-ditch effort by male writers to make it seem like the man also helped and maybe ultimately did not did everything, but like he has to run out. I think it's just added tension personally, but I just found that funny. It was like the woman is coming to save the day, and it was like, but then she trips and falls like a dumb girl in every fucking horror movie, and then the guy has to come and rescue her. So I don't know, it kind of took away from her heroic moment where it could have just been the chick saving the day. And it was like, no, gotta have the guy do it. But hey, if you did it the other way around today, then it'd be social justice bullshit, right? Some garbage, I don't know. I don't really listen to people anymore. And then the tank explodes, turns this thing to ice, and there's all these little, what look like almost gem-shaped little rocks that are all over the ground, crystallized. They better scoop those things up very fast. And then we find that the Reverend from earlier in the movie, the priest, wherever the hell he is, he kept a piece of the Blob, and he's going to release it because he is waiting for God to tell him when it's time for the apocalypse. So another mind. I'm not going to say it. So yeah, total fun. If you guys haven't seen this movie, what the fuck? I mean, seriously. Have you guys seen the remake or the original and the sequel? I know a lot of people call Beware the Blob. A lot of people haven't seen that movie. It was like mid 70s, 73. Shit, I can't remember. But yeah, so the original Blob is a really good time. But this is the best one. I'm sorry. This fucking movie is more my style. I mean, there's going to be people out there that prefer the more like a traditional creature features, 50s. Steve McQueen's in it. He's awesome. But I like my practical effects, my gore, stuff like that. This movie could definitely use some boobies, of course. No great horror movie is without them. But I guess I'm wrong, because there we go. I don't remember there being a single one in this movie, and it's still fucking amazing and perfect. So, yeah, that was fun. Until next week, guys, good night.